Well, you may know some people who are trying to get their hands on your tax dollars to bail out their student loan debt. And those people are starting, as of today, to get emails from the U.S. Department of Education. They're just starting today. Everyone's not getting one today, but the emails, per multiple media reports, are starting to roll out today from the U.S. Department of Education in one of the great scams that an administration has ever tried to pull over its people. And that is, of course, the attempt by the administration to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to basically buy votes. That's what this is. It always has been a vote-buying scheme from the Biden administration. And I can tell you how, and how they know deep down it is a vote-buying scheme. The email or the statement that was put out this morning from the U.S. Secretary of Education, Miguel Cardona, read as follows. Today, the Biden-Harris administration takes another step forward in our drive to deliver student debt relief to borrowers who have been failed by a broken system. They always used to call it the Biden administration. Now, the Department of Education is calling it the Biden-Harris administration. Convenient, huh? Suddenly, now that Joe's not going to be on the ballot come November 5, they've got to realize that, well, we got to put Kamala's name in there. She's going to most likely be the one at the top of the ticket. So we've got to give her some credit for this vote-buying scheme. And that's all this is. So as CNBC reports here, the email is starting to roll out as of this morning on Wednesday. And what the Department of Education is hoping is that they will be able to deliver student debt relief in the fall, possibly weeks before the 2024 presidential election. And this comes after, of course, the Supreme Court has already struck down an effort by the administration to bail out student loan debt without any input from Congress. They tried this last year. And the Supreme Court said, no, you cannot just start spending hundreds of millions or billions of dollars to bail out student loan debt because you feel like it. I mean, that's literally the job of Congress, to figure out how to spend the money of the taxpayer. They have budgets for this. They pass these budgets. These budgets get approved. They get signed into law. That's how this system works. And this administration is just like, nah, we're going to try to buy votes. We don't need Congress. We're going to circumvent Congress. The people who said they were bringing normalcy back to the White House, the people who told you that their focus was going to be on the little guy, is really screwing the little guy. That's what they're doing here with this whole plan. So now the email comes out today, and you're going to see people who are going to be probably sharing it on social media. I haven't seen them yet, but I imagine what you're going to see is this email from Miguel Cardona, who's the education secretary, showing up in email inboxes. And part of the email is also suggesting that if you want to opt out of this student debt bailout, you can do that by August 30th. Now, who's going to do that? Nobody. But this is the email that is starting to roll out this morning as they try to buy the votes of millions of young people in particular ahead of November 5th. That's all it is, and that's all it's ever been. And I just find it rich for the people that claim that, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy and attacking democracy and all these, phrases they throw out there. Those same people are clearly circumventing the U.S. Constitution, have been struck down by the Supreme Court once, and literally said they don't care, and they're going to try to figure out a way to get around the Supreme Court to basically do what they want. That's where we're at right now in the conversation. And, I would still like to see some kind of statement from Sharice Davids, of course, our 3rd District Congresswoman in Kansas, Emanuel Cleaver, some of the other, local federally elected folks that we have in the Kansas City area, to see where they're at on this clear circumvention of the Constitution. That is, it is clear as day, and that's basically what the Supreme Court said last year when they struck this thing down. And now they're admitting that they don't care. And by the way, the guy who is running the Department of Education, Miguel Cardona, is in on it. He's bragging about it. He's saying, hey, here's our deadline. Here's what we're trying to do. Hopefully you'll be able to, get on the list of this SAVE plan, which was first announced in August of 2023. And, sending you steps and guidelines on what you need to do to put yourself in a position to get the bailout. So if you're somebody who's already paid it off yourself, you've gone about trying to do things the air quotes right way. Well, how do you not sit there right now as you're driving to the office? Maybe you're, dropping the kids off somewhere for the day as you go to work to try to, provide for your family. You've sacrificed for your family to, make these payments, to do what you have to do for yourself personally, for your kids, whatever it might be. And these people are slapping you right in the face. That's what they're doing. And on top of that, it does nothing to solve the issue. The issue is the cost of college has gotten completely out of control. I know we've got a better deal when it comes to our state schools here in Kansas and Missouri, but the private schools are completely out of control. You've got private tuition, private college tuitions that are now pushing $90,000, $100,000 all in. That's room and board and the whole deal. $90,000 to $100,000 a year for some of these, elite private colleges all in. And you don't solve that, you don't fix that by bailing out student debt. In fact, all that does is encourage the colleges to keep increasing their tuition costs. Because they're going to get theirs. They're going to get theirs in the form of, payments from the government, payments from these loan companies. They're getting theirs. What are we doing to incentivize the colleges to make college affordable again? I know a lot of people don't end up paying the sticker price on these colleges, but enough do. And even if you're not paying sticker, you're still paying a tremendous amount of money. And the colleges are in no way being incentivized to do anything about that. So Joe Biden is doing something that is very obvious. He's trying to buy votes for November for Kamala Harris. That's all this is. But if you were serious about trying to figure out, okay, how do we get college tuitions down? What do we do to bring down the price of college for regular, folks in Kansas and Missouri and across the entire nation? This is not what you would do. Because the kid who walks into his university coming up here in a couple of weeks, who's going into some debt to make it happen, he gets nothing or she gets nothing out of any of this. They don't benefit at all. They're still stuck potentially with the same issues and the same loans and the same things that students have been dealing with for several decades now, and has only gotten worse as the cost of college has continued to go up. So what are you doing for them? How are you actually fixing the problem? In many ways, this is the most government response to a major issue that you could think of. They don't fix the problem. In many ways, they actually make it worse. Because the colleges know that they're getting theirs, and they can keep promoting and pushing up the cost of these tuitions. And in the end, you know what? The government's going to bail them out is basically their attitude. Why aren't they incentivized to make sure that kids are actually learning things that, get them jobs so then they can potentially pay back some of their loans? What about, putting them on the hook? What about the colleges being on the hook themselves, to make sure they're teaching kids something that get them jobs? None of that is done right now. They just want to take your money. And it's the greatest scam going on in not just, it's not really a political story per se, but I would say just American culture and society. And a lot of people are waking up to it, but still not enough are.